Kayaking in the Klamath County area, that's what we're talking about, starting right now. Hi, I'm Darlene Humphreys, your Klamath Falls Realtor. I mentioned in a previous video that Klamath Lake is not a good recreational lake, and it's not. And then I said that there's great kayaking in Klamath County, so let's do a follow-up on the great kayaking in Klamath County. First of all, if you need to rent a kayak and you don't have transportation for it, if you need a place where you rent the kayak here and all you have to do is walk it to the water and put in and take off, there's only 2 places in Klamath County that I know of that do that. And if you guys out there know of other places, drop it in the comments so people know. There is Harriman Springs in Rocky Point, and then there's Lake of the Woods. But I don't care for Lake of the Woods as a paddle. I've been out there a couple times. It's usually windy and it's open water and it's tough to paddle out there. So it's not one of my favorite spots, but that is a spot you can rent a kayak and go right out on the water. But Harriman Springs and Rocky Point is excellent. I love kayaking in Rocky Point. And people tell me that there's a place in Williamson River in Chicken that does that, but I don't know where it is. So hopefully someone that's watching will know and drops it in the comments for us. But let's talk about my favorite places to paddle if you own your own canoe, or you can borrow canoes from friends, or if you're going to rent a canoe in town and you have ways to transport it somewhere. Let's talk about my favorite paddles. And one of my favorites is Kimball State Park up in Fort Klamath. I love the paddle there. There's places where, especially when the water's fast, it can be tricky. This is probably not a place for inexperienced or cautious paddlers to go. But if you have some paddling experience and have been out on a kayak a bunch of times, I love Kimball State Park. And it's usually pretty quiet up there. It's a fairly lightly used park, so you should have some pretty good kayaking up there. And of course, Rocky Point. I love Rocky Point. It's a great place to paddle. On a very hot summer day, Spring Creek up in Collier State Park is an excellent paddle. It's a very slow paddle. It's very social. People are out there like talking and kind of gathering in little groups. There's places where Spring Creek is very wide and you can just sit around it and just visit on your kayaks and then go off into the headwaters and then turn around and come back. The water is very cold though, so it's excellent when it's a 90-degree day. Go up to Spring Creek and paddle up there. It's a lot of fun. Another place I like to paddle is not actually in Klamath County, it's over the border in California, is Juanita Lake. Juanita Lake is a man-made lake. It's small, it's very shallow, there's no motorboats on Juanita Lake. So if you're out there on a canoe or a kayak or stuff, you're very much at home because there's no motorboats like zipping by. There's not a jet ski like trying to like cause a wake and get you to upset your kayak. And there's some pretty good fishing on Juanita Lake if you like to fish off your kayak. So there's that as an option as well. And another place that people like to paddle is the Wood River. The Wood River has various spots in it, and there's some places that you can put in that are public, but the Wood River can be tricky. That's probably another paddle that's not for novices. So those are some of my favorite places to paddle in Klamath County. If you are familiar with kayaking here, drop your favorite place in the comments so we can share it, and maybe I'll make a follow-up video on that if I get a chance to get out there and try your favorite spot. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy your paddle.